We're looking at the cost of living this week, and today we're talking about benefits. We'll be back in a moment with our reporter Lawrence Urban, who's at the Nest in Weymouth, a community pantry there in the old Waverley pub on Abbotsbury Road. But first, let me bring you this from the last hour. Abby Parker from Swanage. Remember, we spoke to her quite a lot last year. She found herself thrown into the benefits system during the pandemic when she lost her job and then lost her home in a fire. Well, now she's designed a leaflet to help those who might follow her into the benefits system because of how challenging she found it.
It's like wading through very thick molasses dealing with the benefits system. It seems to be designed to be as complicated as possible. I'm a fairly intelligent person and I've struggled to get even the basic funding from them. So that's quite worrying, really, isn't it?
And this is what led you to the leaflet, to try and sort of take your experience and turn it into something that could help others. So give me some kind of perspective on this. Talk me through it.
Yeah, so the leaflet, we produced 5,000, 4,000 of which have been distributed locally now. We've had great feedback from that. People are obviously worried about the fuel price hike, so they're getting in touch with Citizens Advice. I know a lot of people also are struggling with mental health. So they've utilised the resources like Connections, Samaritans, Steps to Wellbeing, and, want to get this information out to as many people as possible, because it's down to us to help each other, really. We need compassion and empathy and proactive measures to deal with this situation.
And can I ask how you're getting on now? I guess it's for many people on benefits, not a place they want to be. Like I say, the pandemic led to you being one of those many people who lost your job. Are you kind of getting things back on track?
Slowly but surely, yes. It takes time to recover from that kind of event. But obviously, I'm in an amazing place where we've got amazing local support networks. We've got a community cafe starting weekly on Mondays, 10 till 2. And Sustainable Swanage are doing a clothes swap on the 9th of April. So I really encourage people to make the most of these resources that are now available and get some help.
Abby Parker from Swanage talking to us in the last hour. Well, this morning, as I say, we've been at the Nest in Weymouth, hearing about a scheme to support people who are struggling. We can cross live now to our reporter, Lawrence Urban. Morning again, Lawrence.
Yeah, good morning, Steve. And for those listening, it might be worthwhile just letting people know why this place is called the Nest. It's really a vision to support people to get from dependence to independence, if you like. And here we are this morning. We've moved from the Nest store with all the food and provisions. We've walked through the corridors into what used to be the old bar of the Waverley pub. And looking around now on the hardwood floor, you've got 6 wooden tables with colourful chairs around them, brightly lit room, and a cafe to all intents and purposes, with a servery and fridges and ovens and water urns, etc. The brains behind the operation and the director here is Neil Hardesty. Neil, you've come from virtually nowhere to having this operation within 16 months, and on the horizon, in just under a fortnight's time, you've got another shop opening up.
We certainly have, yeah. We started off with the vision of providing food for the people just above the food bank level, to set up a community meeting place with a cafe, and thirdly, to reduce the amount of waste food. And in about 16 months, it's just grown and mushroomed. So we opened our first shop back in November 2020. We opened this cafe here in November 2021. And we're opening a second shop in the Littlemore area of Weymouth on the 12th of April. So it's been an amazing growth.
What have you seen in terms of numbers coming through the door, particularly in the last month with the rise in the cost of living? Has it been quite a significant change that you've seen?
Without a doubt, in the shop, yes, we've seen roughly a 25% increase in the number of members in the last 5 or 6 weeks. The cafe is getting busier, and there's been a call from Littlemore for us to move and open in Littlemore, because there are a lot of people over there who find it difficult to actually travel across Weymouth to get to the present shop, and therefore the obvious thing to do is to plan to open another venue, and that's what we're doing.
Well, stick with me, Neil, because just down the road here in this very large community of Westham, just outside Weymouth Town Centre, we've got Westham Methodist Church, and there's a food bank there. I took the opportunity to pop down yesterday and met up with Janet Amy, who's an outreach worker there. And it was a day where there were people who had low disposable incomes, who were largely struggling to be able to afford to buy food regularly, who popped in and picked up carrier bags of food. And I asked Janet about the types of people that were coming through the front door.
We're seeing a mixture of people, some people without homes at all, so we have to adjust the needs of the food that we give them. And then we get some people that just can't afford. They can't afford food. They're trying to pay for everything else, and then food's just something that is a luxury. We have people coming here that are so hungry because they don't come here when their food runs out. They come here when their food has run out and they've tried to cope since that. So when they come here, they are very low self-esteem, very ashamed of the position they're in, and it's pretty sad. Anybody in today's society can get to a stage where they just can't afford food. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's part of the society we live in. It's part of the pressures of rising costs in fuel, having to pay for children, having to do uniforms, having to apply for jobs, having to just the pressures of day-to-day life. And we've got a fantastic group of volunteers here that sort out the distribution and to get it to these points to be collected. You know, we don't own this food. This is not our food. This is people in society know that society at the moment is falling short, and they've contributed to this. And even the clients that come in, they give food to as much, and they help one another.
Neil, can you relate to what Janet is saying there and just give us a comparison, if you like, between those people that use food banks and those that use facilities like your own here, like community shops?
Yes, certainly can. There was a survey done 3 years ago which looked at food insecurity, and it discovered that there were roughly 4 times as many people who were just food insecure as opposed to those who were severely food insecure, who were basically food bank clients. And so the idea of social supermarkets, community shops, is to meet the needs of, in Weymouth and Portland, there would be around about 8,000 people who would be eligible or needed to be able to come and shop here and get good quality food at really cheap prices. They can get 2 bags of food off the shelf for £3.50, and on top of that they get free fruit, free veg and free bread items.
Neil, thank you very much indeed. And just to say, Steve, I'm picking up the menu here at the Nest Cafe. The shop will open at its doors at 10 o'clock this morning, but you can pick up a cup of coffee for a couple of pounds, or for members just 50 pence. You can get a toastie with side salad and crisps for £3, only £1.20 for members. And as I say, the doors will open at 10 o'clock for those carrier bags to be picked up later, discounted food. And it's quite hard to remember that this used to be a pub, and perhaps a reminder of that is in the shop, in the corner, there is a discarded pool table, which they can't actually get out of the building because there's no longer an entrance that's wide enough to get it out. So on top you've got crates and boxes of food and drinks and all sorts of stuff.
Brilliant. Thank you, Lawrence. Lawrence Erdman down at the Nest in Weymouth for us this morning.